my fellow Americans. Tonight I speak to you from the East Room of the White House regarding one of the most profound responsibilities of the President of the United States, and that is the selection of a Supreme Court justice. I've often heard that is not a judge's political views, but whether they can set aside those views to do what the law and the Constitution require. I am pleased to say that I have found, without doubt, such a person. Tonight, it is my honor and privilege to announce that I will nominate Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court. Margaret and Liza have joined us on the podium, and thank you and congratulations to you as a family. Thank you. Judge Kavanaugh has impeccable credentials, unsurpassed qualifications, and a proven commitment to equal justice under the law. A graduate of Yale College and Yale Law School, Judge Kavanaugh currently teaches at Harvard, Yale, and Georgetown. Throughout legal circles, he is considered a judge's judge, a true thought leader among his peers. He is a brilliant jurist with a clear and effective writing style, universally regarded as one of the finest and sharpest legal minds of our time. And just like Justice Justice, and the Senate now has the chance to protect this glorious heritage by sending Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court. And now, Judge, the podium is yours.
Mr. President, thank you. Throughout this process, I have witnessed firsthand your appreciation for the vital role of the American judiciary. No president has ever consulted more widely or talked with more people from more backgrounds to seek input about a by your confidence in me. Thank you. 30 years ago, President Reagan nominated Anthony Kennedy to the Supreme Court. The framers established that the Constitution is designed to secure the blessings of liberty. Justice Kennedy devoted his career to securing liberty. I am deeply honored Mom and Dad are here. I am their only child. When people ask what it's like to be an only child, I say, it depends on who your parents are. I was lucky. My mom was In the 1960s and 70s, she taught history at two largely African-American public high schools in Washington, D.C., McKinley Tech and H.D. Woodson. Her example taught me the importance of equality for all Americans. My mom was a trailblazer. When I was 10, she went to law school and became a prosecutor. My introduction to law came at our My introduction to law came at our dinner table when she practiced her closing arguments. Her trademark line was, "Use your common sense. What rings true? What rings false?" That's good advice for a juror and for a son. And he spoke here about 20 years ago, and he started his lecture by asking his audience to picture the judicial system as, quote, a large snake that feeds largely on field mice, an occasional squirrel, and maybe a game hen here or there. So even 20 years later, Judge Kaczynski is a hard act to follow. I've been a judge for 7 years. No field mice, no game hen for me. And I'll start this afternoon by telling you a little bit about the background of the D.C. Circuit, how our court works, and then turn and talk briefly about three of our most important responsibilities: interpreting statutes that are administered by administrative agencies, enforcing the Constitution's separation of powers in disputes between the legislative and executive branches, and deciding cases during wartime. Even better, our front door is on Constitution Avenue. What better say? I am on Constitution Avenue. Even the Supreme Court can't say that. So our building houses all the federal judges from both the Court of Appeals and the District Court. And we have a judge's lunchroom where we all eat together and talk about the events of the day and talk about sports or what's going on Capitol Hill, or judicial salary might come up once in a while, never. But developing relationships with other judges on the court is really one of the great aspects of being on this court and being on any court and learning about their backgrounds. Of course, we don't talk about pending cases, but still after a reversal of the district court, the Court of Appeals judges tend to avoid the lunchroom for a few days, because you can imagine how the conversation goes when you ask the district judge, how's your day going? And the district judge says, did you have to say I abused my discretion? Did you have to say I didn't just err, I clearly erred? Several extraordinary people who were nominated to the D.C. Circuit but never confirmed. And even for those who have been confirmed, the process has been beset by years of delays. So I saw this firsthand when I worked in the Bush White House. Nominees were held up for years without hearings or votes. And the same thing happened in the Clinton White House, the Clinton administration, and the same thing to some extent has happened in the Obama administration as well. So the best examples of this to really crystallize this, I think, are the D.C. Circuit nominations of John Roberts, who was first nominated in 1992, didn't get through, was renominated in 2001, didn't get through for another 2 years until he was finally confirmed in 2003. And then Elena Kagan, who was nominated to the D.C. Circuit in 1999, she never got through. So it turns out for both of them, it was a lot easier to get confirmed to the Supreme Court than it was to the D.C. Circuit, which is obviously crazy, but is